The views and opinions expressed by the host and our guests do not state or reflect those of the T and MZ show.
This is T.
This is Ipsy.
And hey, MZ, how was your weekend?
Carol, it was special.
How?
I learned how to play golf this weekend.
Oh, you did?
I was on the golf course.
Who taught you?
My hubby.
Okay. But was it a hole in one or no holes at all?
He did pretty good. I was just learning, so I was mostly driving the cart and learning how to swing. I can't get the swing right. You're supposed to take that right arm and that left leg. Right leg is supposed to lift up, but I couldn't get that right. So I got some work. I think I'm going to take more lessons.
Okay. You try going to Top Golf.
Yeah, that's what we were going to do too, but didn't quite make it this weekend. Went to Vanetti's to watch the football game. That was all of the rage.
Okay.
It was fun, smoky. We had a really good weekend. Friday night we went to Aldi's.
Okay.
And so I kind of had him out on the circuit this weekend, testing him out to see,
Okay. How did all these go?
All these were really good. It wasn't as crowded. They remodeled.
Okay.
They put new signs up. They got all new interior and stuff on the inside. It was bright lights and it was nice.
I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah.
I went to Murphy Mansion.
Uh-huh.
And of course, I had me some goat. So it was delicious. And some jollof rice.
Right.
So now I'm officially African.
Did you dance?
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you dance?
Just a little bit. A little bit. But before we get into our podcast, I guess we want to say our condolences to the Bryant family on their loss.
Absolutely.
Such a tragic thing.
Absolutely.
And, I could only, because I've lost a spouse, so I know how she feels in that aspect. But to lose a child.
Oh, that's really tragic.
Yeah, so
that's very sad. It's just been sad. Listen to the commentators. I saw Shaq. It's so weird seeing a big old man like that. Kind of break down. And I know they were very close, and all his ball players. It's just sad. He was so young, with so much promise for him and his daughter. So it's a sad event, but it also makes you think. Life is important. You have to really make each day count because you don't know.
Right, that's true.
Right.
That is true. So I always say, live life, enjoy it, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone.
No, it's not.
Which, is kind of interesting, which brings me to this topic. I had a family member that had posted something on Facebook that, she's getting tired. She doesn't feel she's adequate to continue to be a mother. So she's giving her children to the father. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of controversial because some people feel that the kids should always stay with the mom. And I personally feel that they don't have to stay with the mom. If the mom gets to that point, it is okay. What are your views?
Well, I'm with you on that because my father raised me. So there was not a woman in my life at all coming up. And I think he did a pretty darn good job.
And what age was this?
I was probably about 6 when she left.
Oh, wow.
So if, and later on in life, I had the opportunity to talk with her and ask her, what happened? Because I'd always wondered. And it was one of those situations where she felt like he could take better care of me or us, me and my 2 brothers, than he could.
But as a child or as you got older, did you feel that she didn't try?
Yeah, you do have that. You have that hole. That hole is there. And until you have a conversation and know what the reasons are, you're going to carry that load. That's a heavy burden to think that your mom, that's the person that you bond with, the person that you love, the person that shows you care and shows you how to love. Because most of the times the dads don't in some instances. In this generation, maybe yes, more so. But in my father's generation, they weren't, they smiled, they didn't tell you they love you. You knew that they did because they were doing stuff for you. You had food to eat every night you came home. But in this generation, fathers are a little more hands-on and a little more lovey-dovey. They can fill both roles. But it still leaves you with a hollow feeling Why didn't she want me?
Right. And that probably never goes away.
No.
No matter what your age.
Right.
Okay.
But if this mom has come to a point where she honestly feels like she cannot provide for the kids, and that in my case, the same. My dad was making most of the money and she was not. And she knew that if she left, we were going to be cared for. And I don't know if that's the case with your relative, but if that is the case, I would rather see them in that situation versus living on the street with the mom who can't take care of herself.
Yeah. I don't think it's I'm going to be destitute type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just tired of being a mom. I don't know.
That's another issue. Some people are just not meant to be moms.
Right, but they screwing.
Yeah, but they have kids and they may not want to be moms. They just don't have that, what they call maternal instinct.
Okay.
And they give up their kids. They walk away from them because they get into it and they feel like, I can't do this. I really can't do this.
So when do you make that decision, or when do you feel a woman know that she doesn't have that maternal instinct? Does she come to that conclusion before she have unprotected sex or after?
Well, I have a friend that has 3 children, and she always said before she had the children that she didn't want children.
Okay, but she didn't even. But no. She had kids.
No, there was this was before she had kids.
Okay,
she always said she didn't want kids, but she met guys, she fell in love with them, had the children, and then later on decided, I can't do this. I don't want kids. I'm not a mother. I can't handle it. I'd rather just give them up and just go on with my life and live the way that I want to live it without any kids in it.
Right, but that goes to what I'm saying. You said she knew this before she had kids, that she didn't want to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
But she had sex unprotected. So why wouldn't she protect herself and not have any children if she knew she wasn't going to be a good person?
Because I think that every woman, regardless of how they feel, feels like they can give love to a child. If she loved these men, so she felt like she wanted to have their children. And during that time or after that time, she felt like she could be a good mother and raise these kids with the love that she felt for him. But then as time went on, she felt like she wanted to do something different versus being a mother.
Or was it that he didn't want to be in her life? So was her pregnancy only contingent upon him being in a relationship?
No, he actually wanted to be married and live a family life. She wanted to be in the streets.
Okay. So he has his children?
Yes.
Okay.
Now he does.
Okay.
So, I mean, every situation is, different for everyone. I mean, of course, we know about drug, related issues and stuff like that. But for a father, like for my father, when I look back on it, I see that it had to be hard on him because he raised us and never dated, never brought another woman in the house as long as we were there, up until I was like 18 years old. He wanted to set the right example, so he stopped his life.
Well, that's a long time not to
I
release.
know. He snuck a few women here and there in the basement. We would see him here and there, but no committed relationship. And so he put his life on hold to do, he was
holding his life?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So it does have an impact on them, and it's fortunate that he was the man that he was, because a lot of men wouldn't step up and do that. Some men may say, I don't want to do it either, and leave the kids out there.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I've seen both in my family, so
mm-hmm.
I understand both,
mm-hmm.
but I've seen it all.
Right. But one thing I wanted to bring out, too, is the great thing about this, again, is going back to me, is coming up that way, that when the neighbors in the community see what's going on in the household, that there's no mother there, they pitch in.
In today's or back in the day?
Back in the day. Okay. I don't know what it's like today, but I think it would probably be the same. Maybe, I don't know.
No, because you got these new moms that don't want you saying anything to their children. I just had this conversation with a younger cousin today, telling her, I just feel she letting her kid raise himself. He's 13, both ears appears, inner city kid. So if I walked up to this kid, I'm just going to think he's going to be a thug. That's just what I'm going to think because of the area they live in.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's free to go and come as he please. And you can't say anything to him. She's not there. So you see him, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to be a thug.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a shame, but they don't want anybody to say anything to their children.
Yeah.
So It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's all trial and error because we really don't know how a situation is going to turn out until after time has gone by and circumstances have happened. You just don't know what's going to happen with that child, but sometimes you can see the making of a criminal. I hate to say that.
Yeah,
but
you could see a making of a criminal. You could see a lot of stuff, but she is allowing a lot of stuff. And she's like, well, the point of her calling me is to see if I want to keep him. But I don't have a problem in rehabilitating the kid. But if she wants to be involved, that's where I have a problem at. Because if she's going to undermine everything that I'm going to be putting in him, then we're going to have a problem.
Right, because her principles weren't working in the beginning.
No, but first things first, he plays basketball. He doesn't get good grades. I said, so my first thing would be to not let him play on the team.
Right.
Why does the coach have to have a requirement? You should have a requirement. If he don't meet these expectations for you as a parent, he don't get to do it.
Right.
But she can't do it. She was like, I can't say that to him.
That's like a mother that's letting somebody else raise her kids.
Yeah, and she's
letting no foundation.
Right, but she's letting him raise his children. Raise himself, not necessarily anybody guiding this young guy. And I'm like, there are so many things in Chicago that you can do because you got Big Brothers. Mm-hmm. You got a whole lot of organizations there that can help these inner city kids, and they don't have to be on the street.
Right.
So it's just a lot going on with those inner city kids and, not having the right male role models.
And I truly believe that a male role model is definitely needed in any child's life. When you start talking about being part of the streets and being part of a gang and stuff like that, for a child to grow up without a father that maybe has gone through those situations and can help smooth them out and get them through those rough periods is needed because sometimes a woman can't do that.
Yeah, and you know what? And I know we're going to take a break in a few minutes, but when we come back, I want to talk about, sometimes dads need to recognize when their sons need another role model outside of them.
Right.
Because you can have a dad in your life that still is not the role model you need. So, when we come back, that's something we can talk about, and we'll take a break.
Surely.
Okay.